A bell rings in the hall. Shortly afterward, the door is heard to open. Enter Nora, humming a tune and in high spirit. She is in outer dress and carries a number of parcels. This lies on the table to the right. She left the outer door open after her, and through it is seen a porter who is carrying a Christmas tree and a basket, which he gives to the maid who has opened the door.
Is that my little heart twittering out there?
Yes.
Is it my little squirrel scurrying around?
Yes, it is.
When did my squirrel come home?
Just now. Come in, Truffle, and see what I have bought.
Don't disturb me. Wait, boat did you say? All this thing? Has my little spendthrift wasting money again?
Yes, but Truffle, this year we can let ourselves go a little. It is the first Christmas that we have not needed to economize.
Still, you know, we can spend money recklessly.
Yes, Truffle, we can be a wee bit more reckless now, can we? Just a tiny wee bit. You are going to have a big salary and earns lots of money.
Yes, after the new year. But then it will be a whole quarter before the salary is due.
We can borrow till then.
Nora, the same little veteran. Suppose now that I borrow 50 pounds today and you spend it all in the Christmas week, and then on the New Year Eve a sled fell on my head and...
Don't say such a horrid thing, Truffle.
Still, suppose that happened. What then?
If that were to happen, I don't suppose I should care whether I own money or not.
Yes, but what about the people who had lent it?
Them? Who would care about them? I shouldn't know who they were.
That's like a woman. But seriously, Nora, you know what I think about that. No debt, no borrowing. There can be no freedom or beauty that home life depend on borrowing and debt. We two have kept briefly on the straight road so far, and we will go on the same way for the short time longer that there be not any struggle.
As you please, Truffle.
Come. My little skylark must not drop her wing. What is this? Is my little skylark upset? Nora, what do you think I have got here?
Money!
There you are.
10 shillings, pound, 2 pounds. Thank you, Truffle.
Do you think I don't know what a loss is wanted for housekeeping at the Christmas time?
It will keep me going for a long time.
Indeed it must.
Yes, it will. Come here, Truffle, and see what I have bought. And also cheap. It is a new suit for Ivar. It is a sword, trumpet for Bob. It is a doll for Amy. It is handkerchief and dress lamp for the maid. All in should have really something there.
And what is this parcel?
No. You mustn't see it till this evening.
Very well, but now tell me, you extravagant little person, what would you like for yourself?
For myself, I don't want anything.
Yes, but you must. Now tell me something reasonable that you particularly like to have.
I can't really think anything unless, Truffle.
Yes?
If you really want to give me something, you might.
Well, on with it!
You might give me money, Truffle, as much as you can afford, and then I will buy something with it.
But Nora!
Please do, Truffle, please do. I will wrap it in a beautiful gold cover and hang it on the Christmas tree.
What are little people called who always wasting money?
Spendthrift, I know. Do as you suggest, Truffle. I shall have time to think what I'm most in need of. It's a very sensible plan, isn't it?
Indeed it is. That is to say, if you really save out the money I give you and then really buy something for yourself. But if you spend it all in the housekeeping and any number of unnecessary things, then I merely have to pay up again.
Oh, but
You can deny it, my dear little Nora. That's the truth. It's a sweet little spare trip, but she uses up a lot of money, and it's unbelievable how expensive such a little person are.
You shouldn't say that. I don't really save all I can.
That's very true. All you can, but you can save anything.
You haven't any idea how expensive Swiss calories clear have, Trovard.
You are an odd little soul, very like your father. You always find some new way of wheeling money out of me, and as soon as you got it, it seems to be melt in your hand. You even never know where it had gone. Still, one must take you as you are. It's in the blood, for it is true, you can inherit this thing, Nora.
I wish I had inherited many of Farah's qualities.
And I would not wish you to be anything but just what you are. But you know, it struck me that you are rather, what shall I say, rather uneasy today?
Do I?
You do, really. Look straight at me.
Well,
Hasn't Miss Switzerland been breaking rules in town today?
no. What makes you think that?
Hasn't she paid a visit to the confectioner?
No, I assure you, Trovard.
Not been nibbling sweet?
No, certainly not.
Not even taken a macaron or two?
No, I assure you, really.
There, you know I was only joking.
I shouldn't think up against your wishes, Trovard.
No, I'm sure of that. Besides, you give me your word. Very well. Keep your little Christmas secret, my darling. They will all be revealed tonight when the Christmas tree is lit. No doubt.
Did you remember to invite Dr. Rank?
No, there is no need. He will come dinner with us as a matter of course. However, I will ask him when he comes this morning. You know, Nora, I have ordered some good wine, and you can think how I'm looking forward to this evening.
So am I. The children will enjoy themselves, Trovard.
It's wonderful to feel that one has perfectly safe job and a big enough income. It's delightful, isn't it?
That's so wonderful. There's a bell.
If it is a caller, remember I'm not at home.
A lady to see you, ma'am. A stranger.
Ask her to come in.
The doctor came at the same time, sir.
Did he go straight to my room?
Yes, sir. How do you do, Nora? How do you do? You don't recognize me, I suppose.
No, I don't know. Yes. Christine? Is it really you?
Yes, it is I!
Christine, today I'm not recognizing you. How you have altered, Christine.
Yes, I have indeed. In 9-10 long years.
It is long since we met.
Yeah.
I suppose it is, but now you come into town and have a long journey. That was brave of you, Christine.
I arrived by steamer this morning.
We have some fun at Christmas time. So take out your things and I think you are not cold. Sit down, please, and be cozy, Christine.
Thank you, Nora. Christine, now you look like your old self again. You are a color, perhaps little thin. And much, much older, Nora. Perhaps little, very little, certainly not much. What a childless creature I am. Do forgive me, Christine. What do you mean, Nora? Oh, Christine, you are only two. Yes, it is 3 years ago now. Yes, I know it. I saw it in the papers. I wanted to send you a letter, but I always put it off, and something always prevented me. I quite understand, dear. It was bad of me, Christine, and how you have suffered. And he left you nothing? No. And no children? No. Nothing at all then? Not even any sorrow or grief to leave you upon. Poor Christine, is that possible? It sometimes happens, Nora. Now you are quite alone. How dreadfully sad you are. I had 3 lovely children, but now you can't see them because they are out with the nurse. And you must tell me all about it. No, I want to hear about you. No, you must begin. I mustn't be selfish today. I'm thinking of your affair, but
I have something to tell you. Do you know? We just have a great piece of good luck.
No, what is it?
Imagine, my husband has been making manager of the bank.
Your husband? What a good luck!
Yes, Dermodus. A barista's profession such uncertainty, especially if he won't undertake unsavory cases. Naturally, 𝘓𝗨 has never been willing to do that, and I'm agree with him. You can imagine how pleased we are. He will get a big salary and earn a lot of commission.
Yes, anyhow, I think it would be delightful to have what one needs.
No one needs, but heaps of money.
Nora, haven't you learned since yet? At school, you were always a good spendthrift.
Yes, that 𝘓𝗨 said to me. But Nora is not silly as you think, because we have not been in position to waste money. We both work together.
You too?
Yes, odd and ends, another work process, and all kinds of things. And also 𝘓𝗨. During this year, he overworked dreadfully, so he became dreadfully ill, and the doctor suggested to go to South.
Yeah, you spent a whole year in Italy, didn't you?
Yes, it was not easy matter to get away. I can tell you. It was just after Ivor was burned, but naturally we had to go. I think it is a wonderful, beautiful, long journey as it saves 𝘓𝗨 life. But it cost tremendously a lot of money.
Oh, I so think.
It cost about £2,050. It is a lot, isn't it?
Yes, and in emergencies like that, it is likely to have the money.
I ought to tell you that I got it from my father.
Oh, I see. It is just about that time that he died, wasn't it?
Yes. Do you know, I can go and nurse him because I expecting Ivor's birth, and I had my poor sick 𝘓𝗨 to look after. So my dear father, I can see him. That's my saddest time in life.
But the doctor?
What doctor?
I thought your maid said the gentleman who was right here just as I did was the doctor.
Oh yes, that was Dr. Ray. But he doesn't come in professionally. He is our great friend and comes in at least twice a week. Tell me, Christine, is it really you didn't love your husband? Why did you marry him?
My mother was alive then and was bedridden and helpless, and I had to provide for my two younger brothers. So I didn't think I was justified in refusing it over.
No, perhaps you were right, because he was rich at the time, isn't it?
Yes, I believe he was quite well off, but his business was a precious one, and when he died, it all went to pieces and there was nothing left.
And then?
Well, I had to turn my hand to anything I could find. First a small shop, and then a small school, and so on. The last 3 years have seemed like one long working day with no rest. But now it is ended, Nora. My poor mother needs me no more. She is gone. And the boys do not need me either. They have got jobs and can fend for themselves.
What a relief you must feel is, Christine.
No, indeed. I only feel my life unspeakably empty. No one to live for anymore. That's why I couldn't stand the life in my little backwater any longer. I hope it will be easier here to find something that will busy me and occupy my thoughts. If only I lucky enough to get some regular work or office work of some kind.
But, Christine, that's so frightfully tiring, and you look tired of now. You had better to go to seaside.
I have no father to give me money for a journey, Nora.
Don't be angry with me, Christine.
No, it is you that must not be angry with me, Nora dear. There was a position like mine that makes one so bitter. No one to work for, and yet obligated to be always on the lookout for chances. One must live, and so one becomes selfish. When you told me of the happy turn your partners have taken, you will hardly believe it. I was delighted not so much on your account as on my own.
How do you mean? Oh, I understand. Perhaps Trevor could bring you something to do. Yes, that was what I was thinking of. He must, Christians. I will tell to him and I will broach the subject to Torvald and I'll be happy to help you. Oh, how can you worry, Nora, to be anxious to help me? It is doubly kind in you, for you know so little about troubles and burdens of life. Of course! And I have told you important things. The important things? What do you mean? Speak quietly. Suppose Torvald were to hear. But what is it? Come here. Now I will show you that I have something to be proud and glad of. It was I will save Trevor's life. Save? How? I told you I will donate to Italy. If we didn't go there, Trevor would not be suffered. Yes, but your father gave the necessary funds. No, my father didn't give a silly. I was the people who get the money. But Nora, how could you possibly do it? Did you win a prize in the lottery? In the lottery? I have been no credit in that. But where did you get it from? Aha! It was secret. Did you tell it to your husband? No, I didn't want to tell it to my husband. But Nora... There's the bell. Perhaps I had better go. No, please don't go. It is not to be foretold.
Excuse me, ma'am. There is a gentleman to see the master, and as the doctor is with him.
Who is it?
It is I, Mrs. Helmer.
You? Why is it? Why do you want to see my husband?
Bank business, in a way. I have a small post in the bank and I hear your husband is going to be our chief now.
Then it is?
Nothing but dry business matter, Mrs. Helmer. Absolutely nothing else.
Will you please go into the study then? Nora, who is that man? A lawyer of the name of Krogstad. Then it really was he. Do you know him? Yes, I used to, many years ago. At one time, he was a solicitor's clerk in our town. Yes, he was. He has altered a lot. Yes, he made a very unhappy marriage. He is a widower now, isn't he? Yes, with several children. Their now is burning up. They say he carries on very kind of business. Perhaps, but I don't know anything. But don't let us think of business. It is so tiresome. Yes, you know.
No, dear my fellow, I won't disturb you. I would rather go into your life for a little while. I beg your pardon. I'm afraid I'm disturbing you too.
No, not at all. Dr. Rank, you must be please.
I have a concern, Mrs. Lina Chairmanson here.
Take a seat, Dr. Rank.
I think I passed you on the stair when I arrived, Mrs. Linden.
Yes, I walk very slowly. I can manage very well.
Ah, seems like it's my weakness.
No, the fact is, I have been overworking myself.
Nothing more than that? Then I suppose you have come to town to amuse yourself with our entertainment.
I have come to look for work.
Is that a good cure for overwork?
One must believe, Dr. Rank.
Yes, the general opinion seems to be that is necessary.
Look here, Dr. Rank, you know you want to believe.
Certainly. However wretched my eyes feel, I want to prolong the agony as long as possible. All my patients are like that. And those who are morally decent, one of them, in the base case, at this very moment with Helmer.
Whom do you mean?
A lawyer by the name Krogstad, a fellow you don't know at all. He suffered from moral character, Mrs. Helmer, but he began talking of how it's highly important that he should live.
Did he? What did he want to speak to Tolford about?
I have no idea. I heard it was something about the bank.
I don't know what's the name. Krogstad had anything with the bank.
Yes, he has some sort of post there. Mrs. Linde, I don't know whether you also found in your part of the world that there are certain people who go zealously snuffing about smell out moral corruption. And as soon as they found some person concerned into some lucrative position where they can keep their eyes on him,
healthy nature are less in the home. Still, I think the sick are those who must be taken care of.
There you are. That is the sentiment that is turning society into sick house. Why do you laugh at that? Have you any notion what society really is?
Why do I care about silly old society? I'm laughing at something different. Tell me, Dr. Wang, are people employed in the bank dependent on comfort now?
Is that what you find so extremely amusing?
That's my affair. It is perfectly curious to think that we have. Corporate has some medical offerings and Dr. Wang, what do you think?
What macaroons? I thought they were forbidden here.
But these are Christian with me. What I don't be out. You didn't know that corporate has forbidden them. And I must tell you that he is afraid if we must see it. But I think it is worth watching today. Dr. Wang, give me. And also Christine, you have one too. Thank you. Hi. Tremendously happy. There is just one in the world that I really love to do.
What is that?
I should really love to say, if someone could hear me.
Well, why can't you say?
No, I daren't. It's shocking. Shocking?
Well, I should not advise you to say it. Still, with us you might. What would you so much like to say if people could hear you?
I just love to say, well, I'm Dave.
Are you mad?
Nora, dear.
Say it. Here it is.
Thorvald, dear, have you got rid of him? Yes, he has just gone. Let me introduce you. She is Christine who has come to town. Christine? I'm sorry, but I don't know. Christine Linde, Mrs. Linde, dear. Ah, of course, a school friend of my wife, I presume? Yes, we have known each other since then. And you think she comes here in order to see you? What do you mean? No, really, Christine is tremendously clever at bookkeeping, and she is frightfully anxious to work under the clever man so as to perfect herself. Very sensible, Mrs. Linde. And when she knew you was appointed as manager of the bank, she's come here, travel here as quick as she could. And for both, I believe you will be able to do something for her, for my sake. Won't you? Ah, well, it is altogether impossible. I presume you are a widow, Mrs. Linde? Yes. And have had experience in bookkeeping? Yes, a fine amount. Ah, it's very likely I may be able to find something for you. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? You just come at a fortunate moment, Mrs. Linde. How am I to thank you? There is no need. But today you must excuse me.
Wait a minute. I will come with you.
Don't be real long, Thorvald, dear. About an hour, not more. Are you going to, Christine? Yes, I must go and look for a room. Oh, well then, we can walk down the street together. It is pity we are of such of this place, and I'm afraid it is impossible for us. Please, don't think of it. Goodbye, Nora, dear, and many thanks. Goodbye for the present. Of course you will come back. And you, Dr. X, what do you say? You want to leave? Of course, you must be. Wrap up yourself well.
Don't let us stand here in the draught.
Come along, Mrs. Linde. All right. Goodbye, Nora. Goodbye, Linde.
Excuse me, Mrs. Helmer.
Oh, what do you want here?
Forgive me. The other door was ajar. I suppose someone forgot to shut it.
My husband is out, Mr. Prostate.
I know that.
So what do you want to hear, Dad?
A word with you.
Today it is not the first month yet.
I know. It's Christmas Eve, and it will depend on you what sort of a Christmas you will spend.
Today is not impossible for me for...
We won't talk about it later on. This is something different. I presume you can give me a moment.
Yes, I can. Although...
Good. I was in Alton restaurant and saw your husband going down the street.
Yes?
With a lady.
Yes, he is Mrs. Linde, just arrived in town.
She is a great friend of yours, isn't he?
She is, but I can see...
I knew her too once upon a time.
I'm aware of that.
Are you? So you know all about it. I thought as much. Then, can I ask you, without beating the boss, is Mrs. Linde to have a job in the bank?
But right to have question to me, Mr. Crosstad. You went out my husband's subordinate. Since you asked that, you should know. Yes, Mrs. Lily has to have a job, and I was planted in her classes. Let me tell you about that.
I was right in my thought that.
Sometimes someone has a tiny bit of influence. I hope so. Because she is a woman, she doesn't need to follow that. And when anyone in a subordinate position is to be careful to avoid avoiding with anyone who
Has influence.
exactly. Mrs. Helm.
You will kindly use your influence on my behalf.
What do you mean by that?
You will kindly see that I am allowed to keep my subordinate position in the bank.
What do you mean by that? Who proposes to take your post away from you?
There's no necessity to keep up the pretense of ignorance. I can quite understand that your friend is not very anxious to expose herself of rubbing shoulder with me. And I quite understand too, to whom I have to thank for being gentle.
But I assure you.
Very likely. But the time has come when I should advise you to use influence for defend that.
But Mr. Crosstad, I have no influence.
Haven't you? I thought you said yourself just now.
Naturally, I didn't mean you put that construction on it. What makes you think that I had influence of that kind with my husband?
I know your husband for our student's day. I don't suppose he is any more unsaleable than other husbands.
If you speak slightly to my husband, I will turn you out there.
You are bold, Mrs. Helmer.
I'm not afraid with you. As long as New Year comes, I will be free in the whole thing of in short times.
Listen to me, Mrs. Helmer. If necessary, I'm prepared to fight for a small job in the bank as if I were fighting for my life.
So it seems?
It's not only for the sake of money. There's another reason. Well, I dare say you know. Many years ago, I was guilty of indiscretion.
I think I have heard about that kind.
The matter never came into court, but every way seems to be closed to me after that. So I took to the business that you know of. But now, I must cut myself free from all that. My sons are growing up. For their sake, I must try and win back as much respect as I can in the town. The small job in the bank, like the first step up for me. But now, your husband is going to kick me downstairs again into the mud.
But believe in me, Mr. Crosstad. It is not my power to help you.
It is because you have not the will. Then, I have means to compel you.
You didn't mean that you will tell my husband I own money with you?
Suppose I were to tell him.
It would be perfectly insulting of you that to think of his learning my secret, which has been my pride and joy in such an ugly, clumsy way that he should learn it from you, and it would put me in disagreeable position.
Only disagreeable.
Well, do it. It will be the worst of you, and my husband will see your black card, and Pratami, you will lose your job.
Listen to me, Mrs. Helmer. Either you have very bad memory or you knew very little about business. I should remind you. I'm a fugitive. What do you mean? When your husband was ill, you came to me and borrowed 250 pounds.
I didn't know anyone else to go to.
I promised to get you that amount.
Yes, you did so.
But below your signature, there are few lines continuing your father's surety for the money. Those lines your father should have signed.
Should? He signed them.
I had left the date blank. That is so say, your father should himself have inserted the date on which he signed the paper. Do you remember that?
Yes, I think I remember.
Then I give you the bond to send by post to your father. Is that so?
Yes.
And you naturally did so at once, because 5 or 6 days afterward, you brought me the bond with your father's signature. And then I give you the money.
Well, haven't I been paying it off regularly?
Very regularly, yes, but to come back to the matter in hand, that must have been very tiring time for you, Mrs. Helmer.
It was, indeed.
Tell me, Mrs. Helmer, can you by any chance remember what day your father died? On what day of the month?
Father died on 29th of September.
That's correct. I have certain it for myself. And there is a discrepancy on which I have account for. It is discrepancy, Mrs. Helmer. the fact that your father have signed his paper 3 days after the start.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Your father died on 29th of September, but look at here. Your father did his signature on 2nd of October. It is discrepancy, right? Can you explain this to me? It is a remarkable thing too that the word 2nd of October as well as the year is not written in your father's handwriting. Well, of course, it can be explained that maybe your father forgot the date to date his signature and someone else might date it. There is no harm in that. It depends on the signature of the name. It is genuine, Mrs. Helmer. But it was your father himself who signed his name here.
No, it was not. It was I who wrote first name.
Are you aware that this is gender convention?
In what way? You will have your money soon.
Let me ask you a question. Why did you not send the paper to your father?
It is impossible. My father was ill. If I asked his signature, I could tell him what the money is used for. And I could tell him that my husband was in danger. It was impossible.
But it would be better if you had given up on your trip abroad.
No, that was impossible. My trip was to save my husband's life. I couldn't give that up.
Do you think that you're committing the fraud on me?
I couldn't take that into account. I didn't trouble myself about you, and I couldn't bear you. Because you put so many difficulties in my way. Although, you know what a dangerous condition my husband was in.
Mrs. Helmer, you quite clearly do not realize what you've been guilty of. But I can assure you, one might false step, nothing worse more than what you have done.
You? Do you ask me to believe that you're brave enough to run a risk to save your wife's life?
The law cares nothing about motives.
It must be a very foolish law.
Foolish or not, it is the law. You will be judged if I produce the paper in court.
I don't believe it. Is a daughter not to be allowed to spare of father's dying anxiety and care? Is a wife not to be allowed to save her husband's life? I don't know much about law, but I'm certain that there must be a law permitting do such kind of things. And you are a lawyer? You must be a very foolish lawyer, Mr. Crosstag.
Maybe, but the matter of business. Do you think that I don't understand this? Very well, but let me tell you this. If I lose my reputation 1 second, you will lose yours with me.
No sense trying to frighten me like that. I'm not silly as he thinks. Thorvald dear, are you back already?
Yes. Has anyone been here?
Here? No.
That's strange. I saw Krogstad going out of the gate.
Did you? Oh yes, I forgot. Krogstad was here for a moment.
Nora, I can see from your manner that he has been here begging you to say a good word for him.
Yes?
You appeared to do it of your own accord, and you were concealed from me the fact of his having been here. Didn't he beg that of you too?
Yes, but Thorvald...
Nora, would you to be a party of that sort thing? To have any talk with a man like that and give him any sort of promise? And to tell me a lie into a bargain?
A lie?
Didn't you tell me no one had been here? My little songbird must never do that again. Very well, we will now say more about it.
Thorvald? Yes? What are those papers? Fan business. Already? I have got authority from the returning manager to undertake the necessary change of the staff and also in the rearrangement of the work. And I must make use of the Christmas week for that, so as to have everything in order for the new year. Oh. If you're not busy today, I will ask you something. What is that? Tell me. What is
really something very bad that Krogstad was guilty of? He forced someone in. Have you any idea what that means? Isn't it possible that he was driven to do it by necessity?
Yes, or as in so many cases by imprudence. I'm not so hopeless as to condemn a man altogether because of a single false step of that kind.
No, you wouldn't, would you?
Many a man has been able to retrieve his character, Nora, and if he openly confessed his fault and taken his punishment.
Punishment?
But Krogstad did nothing of that sort. He got himself out of it by a cunning trick, and that's why he was gone under altogether.
But do you think it would? Just think how a guilty man like that has to lie, how he has to wear a mask in the presence of those near and dear to him, even before his wife and children. And about the children, that is the most terrible part of it, Nora. How?
Because such an atmosphere of lies infect and poison the whole life of a home. So that makes a house is full of the germ of evil.
Are you sure of that?
My dear, I have often seen it in the course of my life as a lawyer. Almost everyone who has gone to the bed early in life has had a deceitful mother.
Why do you only say mother?
It seems most commonly to be the mother influence, though naturally a bad father would have the same result. Every lawyer is familiar with the fact. This Krogstad has been poisoning these own children with lies. That is why I say he has lost all moral character. That is why my sweet little Nora must promise me not to plead his cause. Give me your hand in it. Come, come. What is this? Give me your hand. I assure you it would be quite impossible for me to work with him.
It is terribly hot here and I have a lot of things to do.
Yes, and I have to try and read this before dinner, my sweet little Nora.